Let's talk about different mistakes we make as artists that keep us from making a great abstract painting. And they're super simple, so once you hear them, you can be aware of them and catch yourself from going down that path. All right, the first thing, our mindset. Many of us beat ourselves up when we get to the canvas and we start to work on that painting. We say things like, I can't do this. I'm not an artist. What am I thinking? Like, this is frustrating. I can't figure this out. We have to stop talking that way. Instead, just flip that script and say things like, I got this. I don't know that skill yet, but I'm working on it, and this is my practice. The second thing is painting with too many colors in our palette. And I get it. When I was a novice painter, I thought I needed every single shade of red that I could purchase, but it's just not the case. And I don't even need to bring a lot of color to my canvas because I can mix them. And the surprising thing about mixing them is they go together better. So if you have been finding yourself working with maybe 6 different colors you're laying out on the palette board to try to make a painting, I would say take it back to 3. It sounds hard, but it really simplifies your color palette because you're going to get different colors from mixing those, and they naturally will go together. And I'm not talking about black and white. This is 3 colors in addition to black and white. So it's really simple. When you simplify your palette, let's take a look at this painting here. It's really just 3 colors I used. And I know it looks like it's all blue, mostly, but it's a dark blue, a dark green, and then my Payne's gray, which, well, is kind of a blue-gray. So really maybe 2 colors. But all I did was mix those together. And then, of course, the white. You bring that in and you have your contrast. That's always going to be something that works. But what I did here, and I don't know if you could see the glare in here, but instead of pure white, I used a pearlescent white and I laid it over. And it just brings a whole new dimension to the painting that you get this little bit of shimmer. And that's all we need, is just little bits of something to bring the interest. So simplifying that palette is really gonna help. Another big thing that if you've been following me for a while, you know I can't create without it, is it goes with the mindset. So not only not beating ourselves up, but dropping into that mindset of where I need to be to paint this type of painting. And I simply mean, what's my intention? Am I stepping up to the canvas not knowing what I'm gonna make? Well, yeah, I never know really what I'm gonna make, but that's not what I'm talking about. It's, what do I wanna feel from this painting? See, the thing about that is it opens you up to an entire, broader world. Instead of saying, I'm gonna paint an abstract teapot or an abstract vintage car. Well, I'm gonna say, what do I wanna feel when I look at this abstract vintage car or teapot? There's gotta be a mood associated with it because that's our connection. And that's what's gonna make us say, I have to have that painting. That's what we want. And then apart from the mindset, the painting with too many colors, intention, well, we have to bring in a variety of tools. So number 3, variety of tools, and not just using a paintbrush. And so when we are just starting out, often that's all we know is the paintbrush. But if you really want to get into that abstract world, bring in maybe 2 to 3 other tools to start with and see what they do for you. So my go-tos by now, if you don't know me, yeah, I like to use big wide paintbrushes. It just I like the effect of a brush. I like what it can do. But then in addition to that, I know for me that I will get stuck trying to paint tighter and tighter if I just use a brush. So at a certain point, I will bring in, these are my 3 favorites. This is simply a color shaper, and I'll put links so that you can see, you can find out where I get them. But a color shaper is just a way to apply paint. And I could do it thick, I could dig into it, scrape away parts of the painting and reveal what's underneath, and just a lot of different things. Another favorite way to apply is to just take my spatula here and I'll drag the paint all the way over. And I'll even maybe spray it with a water bottle and just let stuff drip. And another way that I can always get my painting back into the abstract realm is taking something like a brayer roller and just rolling it across. And not only does it thin the paint out in some areas, but it brings this really gentle texture in that often leaves us wondering, how'd you do that? And that's something I love to see in my paintings for reactions from people. And that's another way that they connect to that art. Like, wow, that mood, and how did you do that? It seems to bring this magical effect, even for me. And the final mistake that we tend to make is not putting enough layers on the painting. So that's a simple fix. All you have to do is start by putting, your blank canvas, you put a nice thick layer of paint on, let it dry overnight, and then come back in the next day, do another layer. And you've got 2 thick layers to start with. And then from there, we often need to play a little bit, but I know in my head, I'm like, okay, I'm pretty good. I've got 2 good base layers on there. And they don't have to be great paint, it doesn't have to be the perfect color. I will often take all my leftover paint from the previous day and spread it on the canvases and just let them dry, because we don't like to waste. Paint can be pricey, and we know that we have to put these layers on the canvas. So why not use it and just let it build up? And that way, when I come in the next day and I paint from that perspective, I've got a good base going. And I know I'm probably going to put at least 2 more on that day because it takes some playing around. And there, I've got a really good, strong foundation. So let's take a recap of this. The first mistake would be our mindset. We don't want to talk negative about ourselves, our process, anything to do with that. It's going to show up in our canvas, so we can't have that. We often use too many colors. Let's simplify. Instead of using 6, 7 colors, bring it back to 3. Believe it or not, you will give yourself so much more freedom because you're going to have to be creative and mix. All right. Third, start with an intention. Try it. Instead of saying, I'm going to come in and paint an abstracted farm or landscape, come in and say, what mood do I want to feel from my painting today? And whatever I end up painting, that's besides the point. It's the mood that transcends. You can paint a moody teacup and a moody landscape, a moody car, a moody sky. And that's the magic. Number 4, we have to bring in a variety of tools. Believe it or not, it will keep you from getting tight, and you can correct any tightness by just taking something like a spatula and smearing it across. And there you go. You've got to react to it, and you've got to do something. And then the final thing, not having enough layers, that's probably one of the easiest fixes, right? Just put more paint on the canvas. And with those things, you're going to keep yourself from going down all those different paths of not having a successful painting. That I know once you do that, you're going to be amazed and you're going to love your own artwork. And isn't that why we're here?